Welcome back to Finals Day here from Starladder iLeague Star Series Season 2 as Na'Vi take a 1-0 lead in their best-of-3 lower bracket final series against Fnatic. After Bounty Hunter not picked all weekend long, Na'Vi opened their draft with Bounty in response to the rookie, and we saw why. By 11 minutes into the game, after giving an unlucky first blood up in the bottom lane, Seneko is 5-0-3 and on all 8 of Na'Vi's team kills, has 2 courier snipes. Let me bring back in my 4-man panel here. We've got Gods, Merlini, and Winter to break down the action. I don't know what you say about that game, guys, besides bodied by Bounty.
Seneko, very good performance. I mean, we talked about Fnatic. They're a team who wants to do well early game, well in the lanes, and then kind of group out 5-man. They did not do well in the lanes. They did not get a chance to group up in 5-man with the Void Chrono. They were playing from behind for from minute 5. So I don't know.
I felt like even if Na'Vi guessed the lanes wrong and paired them not in the way that they wanted to, they still would have came out on top in the lanes. I think Fnatic had to really next level them in some sort of early game way to win with that.
Yeah, the thing is they have 2 early game heroes just now, like the Ember and the Riki. I felt like they drafted maybe a little too much on towards team fight. They focused a lot on team fight, so they gave up some of their early game. Yep. But then Ember had a tough laning phase. All the games I see Ember so far, Ember always struggles in the laning phase. So when the hero struggles in the laning phase, he doesn't shine as an early game hero when you run around with your Flame Guard to kill heroes. Then there's only one early game hero, Riki. And Bounty Hunter, Klings, everyone like Mirana, all of those heroes are all early game heroes. And they were kind of waiting for a one big team fight. I was there talking to their coach, and I'm like, okay, they have to wait for one team fight, their first team fight of the game. Even though if they're 5k behind, 7k behind.
And here is, by the way, one of those first team fights in the bottom lane where it looked like Fnatic were going to have the early advantage, but they lose the Ancient Apparition very early in the fight. Mid one gets tracked up on his Emblem. The Chronosphere does hit 2 heroes, and General gets insanely low here, but with the aid of the Shallow Grave, he is able to survive, get to the edges of the fight. The Lunar Eclipse doesn't do quite the work that it needs to do, and Na'Vi are able to reset, re-engage, and get, I think, at least 3, if not 4 track kills in this fight, and this is where just the Bounty Hunter of Seneko really pays off.
Yeah, if they won this fight, then maybe they could have probably turned the game around, but they lost the first fight of the game with their Chrono, and the game just was so bad after that for them. It was
4 track kills.
I mean, what are you supposed to do? The thing for me, I look at it, and in the first 2 or 3 minutes until that first blood happened, the lanes weren't going as bad as I initially had feared for Fnatic. Dendi was playing a little bit careful in the mid lane, not quite knowing where the Riki was, but it's the minute they were sure that the Riki was bottom, they got the kill on Seneko. The Bounty Hunter started roaming around the map, causing chaos, and we never felt anywhere near the same presence from the Riki.
I mean, the Bounty did a lot, but at the same time, Riki had to do a lot, but he couldn't because all the lanes needed help. And even though Mirana didn't kill Ember, he was still out CSing him. And top lane, the first rotation when after they killed the first bird bottom because of the bash, and then he TP'd top, they killed 1 or 2 heroes, and then Sanking became really, really strong after that. It was just very, very good teamwork. He stunned in, and then they baited. Mushi was baited to chase the Sanking, and then they got the Grave on him, and then they killed 2 heroes there.
I like that Sneaker recognized. Why bother trying to make bottom lane even? Let's just go win the other lanes. He could have tried to neutralize the Riki's presence, but instead just made sure the other lanes they could let General snowball, let Dendi have a good game.
I mean, I think this game, I don't think Fnatic played that badly. It was just the overall strategy that they chosen. Everything was natural after that. They chose the heroes. They even got a lucky first blood. But later part of the game, it was just very difficult for them to contest with what Na'Vi have unless they land big Chronos with the Ice Blast plus the Lunar ulti to kill heroes. If that doesn't happen for them, it's very difficult for them.
Yeah, and this was, I think, an issue that we brought up in the pregame discussion about how last night, Fnatic were able to take that series off of Friends, but their execution wasn't as clean. Their drafts weren't necessarily optimal.
No, I don't think it's execution in this game. It's the choice of strategy that they chosen, because there's always 2 ways that they play the game. In most of the games recently that I see, either they go all out in early game with the Enchantress or Chen, or they pick a lineup that has maybe a Riki or maybe a Earth Spirit early. They don't pick Earth Spirit anymore, and they pick heroes that are very strong at team fighting. So they sort of get a good early game with that one hero, and then they transition into team fight. But this game, I think they had too much team fight and they needed a little bit more heroes that are excelling at early game so they don't lose the early game that hard.
They had a lot of team fight, but they still also didn't have the best synergy around the Chronosphere. They had the Ice Blast, but
Don't you think it's decent like, with Ice
decent.
Blast?
But like we saw multiple hero Chronospheres continuously, and every time I'm like, well, no, the heroes weren't
They're
dying.
behind. Like
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
behind.
The Chronosphere is really their only source of lockdown, right? And you saw in the theme that we're seeing in these fights, right? The Na'Vi heroes are able to get in and out of these fights fairly freely. They are going to get the kill on Dit Ura here, as they were able to do in a number of these engagements. But the Mirana and the Sand King are just getting in and out at will.
Yeah. General's positioning has been fantastic throughout this game. I mean, we talked about how good Sneaker was. I think General was the other standout player for me as far as just being in the right place, escaping so many what looked like certain death situations.
His items was really good too. I was like talking to you yesterday. I saw the friends game where they had where Gio was on the Sand King. He went for Blink, Aghanim's, then he went for Aether Lens. I was like thinking that game for staff would have been really good for him because they were up against a Riki. And this game showed that it was so important for the Sand King to have a 4-star against the Cloud.
And G even died in that Cloud like at least twice, I remember. So.
Yeah, because you get Searing Chains and then you're under the Cloud. There's nothing you can do without a 4-star.
Yeah, and this is just not the kind of numbers that we're used to seeing from Mid-1 as Ember Spirit. You saw there, he barely cracked the top 5 in terms of damage
I don't think he played bad though this game.
No, I don't think so either.
It's like so difficult for him to do what he's supposed to do this game. I just feel like overall they have to, if they're going to give away those heroes against Na'Vi, they have to have a more all-rounded lineup. You can't focus too much on one aspect of the game like team fight.
So give me an example.
3
of
key heroes. I think Na'Vi is very good at 3 heroes. Io, Bear Rider, and Sand King. These are the 3 most dangerous heroes that you have to figure out which one you want to give away. In the first game, obviously, they gave away the Sand King.
Right.
So maybe they're going to adjust or... It depends whether they are first pick. Were they first pick? They were first pick this game. They went for the Riki. So I don't know if you prioritize something else.
Fnatic have first pick again for game number 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I think Na'Vi chose side over pick.
And that's something that we've been seeing a lot this weekend. We've been seeing a lot of games just with repeats, side and pick. It's pretty clear that there are a lot of discrepancies across teams in how they value both faction and pick order. So we are loading into our draft here for game 2. We're going to get you into that in just a moment. But Ben, what do you think Fnatic can do in the second game? Just is it more a matter of adjusting the draft, focusing more on the early game?
Well, as Winter mentioned, they have like 2 main formulas, right? And I don't know. I just want to see them do something that, like, we haven't seen from prior patches. I don't know. I just haven't really seen them adapt to this patch in general. I think, like, last patch I was like, okay, Deuce is really cool. I think they incorporated Deuce really well into their new playstyle. But, like, right now it just seems like they keep falling back to the same things over and over, all out on the early game with a little bit of team fight, group up, as Winter mentioned. And it's very clear that they like to do that every single game, whether it's a Terrorblade or Medusa. It's their playstyle's like far too predictable.
7 for 7, guys. This
Round
is
2.
exactly the same 7 heroes, 4 bans, and 3 picks that we saw from the 2 teams in the last draft.
I don't mind the Riki opening as long as they adjust what they have after.
So it was Void that they came back with in the last game. So what do you think here, Winner? What do you like better than Faceless Void?
Timber, I think.
Do you think the Void was... I had more problems with like the AA Luna lane. I think the AA Luna lane was the big weak point. If you look at Fnatic's draft and lane, like AA Luna lane...
Okay.
You cannot draft that with a Riki.
Yeah, Void
sure.
I think is okay, but the other 2 with the Riki was what made the lane so hard for them. And they got abused by the Dazzle, Sand King, and Bounty roaming.
See, I don't know. I don't necessarily like the Riki Void open just because you're almost guaranteed that you're not going to have kill potential in the Void's lane. Despite that they did get that first blood in the last game off a Lucky Bash, Void Riki is not necessarily a lane that you're going to fear.
I think one reason they play so well around the Medusa is because they don't have to help that lane out at all. I think they need more self-sufficient laners that can't get pressured.
Yeah, not Luna.
Yeah, not Luna. Like, you need a hero that can just stand there, and if one hero comes in, they're still not going to die.
Unbelievable, guys.
11 for 11.
11 for 11. There's the different one. There is the one departure there. We finally get a Dazzle van.
That Dazzle was a big titan in team fights. He made sure that it was very hard to kill them in the chrono. And number 2, it's sort of like made Fnatic pick the AA because they feel like they need something to deal with the Grave, so they picked Ice Blast for that.
At the same time, though, you have so many art style heroes left, including the Enchantress and the Chen. They're going to go back for the Dendi Mirana again, presumably.
But I think the big thing with the Dazzle ban is there's no real good replacement for the Dazzle in that off-lane dual lane. There's no hero that does what Dazzle does, where you Burrow Strike in, you get the heal bomb on the hero, the Sand King can play aggressive because he's got the sustain and the Grave behind him. Like, there's other heroes that can heal him up, like Oracle type heroes, Omni Knight, but
Witch Doctor maybe.
Which it's nowhere near as powerful as Dazzle.
Yeah, but Witch Doctor provides other stuff, like you have the cast, the coconut bounce, and you have you might have more offensive options if you choose to go for the curse, the Maledict early.
See, I think Fnatic can take the Witch Doctor here, and it would be pretty good. I like that combination
that
with
would
the
be
Chromosphere.
yeah, that would be good for them as well, and it gives them much better laning compared to the AA plus Luna last game.
Yeah, that was one of the things that struck me during the last game, is that if that third pick AA is a Witch Doctor instead, it's a very different draft. But they're going to go for a Rubik. All right.
Wow, I've not seen Rubik in forever.
This is for specifically the Sand King, I guess. They want to steal Power Strike, and you have the Null Field against the spell damage. I'm not sure that's the biggest reason why you picked the Rubik here.
Hey, that's well up. 8% level 1 now?
Well, I don't think... I mean, I don't know, Bamboo, do you think it makes a big difference now?
I don't think it makes a big difference, but I think it is like kind of the early game that they need. Like he's much different flavor than AA, because AA, like if you jump him, you're just not scared to go on AA. You're not scared to just tower dive him over and over. Rubik can actually have a lot more defensive potential. Like a bounty hunter might think twice about going to his lane.
I don't think they're picking him for the Nullfield, but Nullfield is really good because, like, last game he had a pipe on Void. Like, your Void doesn't want to build a pipe, but he had to because they're all magic damage.
See, this is why I was really a little 50-50 about the Dazzle ban, because Na'Vi are so comfortable running that Chen in an aggressive dual lane alongside General's hero as well, so you could very easily see Chen and Sand King top. But here's the Medusa that you guys were talking about. We've seen this look from Fnatic in the past.
Yeah.
They have a lot of D-push, Fate Bolt plus the Snake, Mystic Snake. So that's pretty good versus the Chen army.
Tanky heroes too. Like that Medusa mid at least
they're
shouldn't
still-
need too much help.
They're still lacking in terms of damage. Right now, these 4 heroes don't do that much damage unless you have a lot of items. And judging by how Mushi always builds his Medusa, I know Banwu is not a fan of how he builds his items, but generally he doesn't get damage early.
We've had extensive conversations about the Lincoln
I'm not the one who
Manta's
flames
first
him
two
more.
items, but
Black Flames him.
Black
more.
Flames
yeah,
him
Black.
a lot more.
Oh my God, Black gets so triggered.
But
by that.
don't you think that it's better that he goes the Yasha Skadi build?
Yeah.
Or you think his build is fine?
I like Yasha Scotty. I think it's way better, but players like their builds.
But let me ask you guys a question. I mean, suppose that we do have a Sand King Chen aggro dueling top as we might be expecting. What is different about that? What's to prevent the same thing happening to the Luna AA lane?
Rubik's way stronger than AA.
Yeah, and they have
It's
Medusa.
so much better.
They have Medusa, which is longer range than Luna, so you are less likely to get hit by the caustic. But right now, Fnatic definitely needs a mid hero that deals
You don't think Medusa's
damage.
going mid?
Oh, Medusa might be. Yeah, that
They
too.
normally run Medusa.
Yeah,
I'm
that-
not,
Yeah,
I'm,
yeah,
I'm
they
asking
do.
you.
No,
Yeah,
Mushi
yeah, that
Medusa
too, yeah.
yeah.
But-
That's typically
Yeah, I
what they've
forgot.
shown.
But they could also do him safe lane if they feel like you need a ranged hero against the Sand King, because you don't want a hero that is short range against Sand King when you're farming, then you get hit by the caustic.
I think you can run Timber. I think Timber might be one of the few
It's
heroes
banned
that's like, oh, it is?
by
Okay.
Fnatic themselves.
What other ones are there? Mid.
Mid or safe lane. Okay, I like
Invoker,
it.
Invoker I would always like for them.
Magnus.
Wow.
Magnus would
Wait,
do heavy
who's-
team fight. All out team
Wait a
fight.
minute.
Safe lane Void, I guess, for mid one?
Does mid? Oh boy.
No,
Interesting.
I think it's
No.
off lane Void and then mid Magnus.
Yeah, mid Magnus.
Mid Magnus and
And who plays
Medusa
the
safe lane.
Who plays the Magnus?
It should
Does
be
mid
one play
should
the
be
Magnus?
mid one.
We've seen mid one Magnus.
The last
before.
time I saw was mid one, but based on this system that they are playing right now, it should be Mushi playing the hero that doesn't need so much farm, Magnus, and mid one on the Medusa.
Okay, final thoughts, Ben and Winter. What do you guys think going into this game too?
I like this draft a little bit more from Fnatic compared to last game, but I think Navi's they gave him exactly what they wanted yet again. I'm with Navi.
Yeah, me too. As much as I want to say Fnatic, but Na'Vi has a very solid lineup here.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with you guys. I think this is vintage Na'Vi. It's what we've seen from them all tournament long. So let's send it over to, once again, KotLGuy and Fog for Game 2.
Thanks, you Nahaz. We're back on our caster couch now, getting ready and stoked, hyped up for Fnatic versus Na'Vi round 2 of this best of 3 Fogged. First half of the draft looks close to a mirror match of what we saw in game number 1, but they changed things up moving forward, pulling out stuff like the Rubik, and then
See what we got
Fnatic
here.
with their trademark Medusa. And then, you know, we discovered that the Void might not be your typical Ohio Void, possibly, as they pull out the Magnus at the end. So Wombo Combo City, Na'Vi get their Bounty Hunter again, but also pair with the Chen. Fog, what do you make of all this?
Let me just get situated.
I know, you just got back,
Going.
you know, you just got back, you're kind of dissecting everything, so I understand, take a moment. This
Still got
is-
my shoes on and everything. Look at me, I'm a mess.
You're so perplexed right now.
I'm a mess.
So-
Let's take a look, though. Na'Vi overall have a very ideal Na'Vi draft. Fanatics is a little bit more bizarre from what we're used to seeing them play. I mean, the Medusa obviously and the Void are very staple picks, but the Magnus is one that I don't really see them play too often.
Look at the potential money that Na'Vi could be making. They could be like Scrooge McDuck in this game if things go their way. Track money, Alchemist money, the shekels are real.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see what the matchups are. Okay, so it looks like what Dendy's going to be try to put mid versus that matchup. And did they get both wards? Because I see Ricky has 2 CS. So that one ward.
That would probably lead us to believe he's been hitting something. Wards seem to be the likely thing here, as Fnatic are just kind of taking over with the early vision advantage.
Actually, can you click on the Ricky again? So he got 1 obs and must have been 1 sentry because he has 25 experience.
Okay, Na'Vi are here, Fnatic are here. Mid 1 actually on the Magnus. I don't know if we took note of that. And he's taking a page out of Dendy's book, what he ran a lot during the past, Star Ladder 11, I believe. It was something else. Mid 1 looking to kind of be on the same pace here. While we see something a bit different for Dendy, I believe. Is he playing the Alchemist in the end?
No, Ditchera is actually playing the Alchemist and putting Dendy in a 1v1 matchup, kind of, versus the Sanking, or versus the Void.
They're flipping the whole thing up. Okay.
Interesting decision for their lanes. I really like this for Na'Vi. I just feel like this matches up so well for how they play, and I just the Seneko Bounty Hunter and the Art Style Chen for me are just 2 big ones that just these guys put so much pressure on the map with these 2 heroes.
It's going to be interesting to see what the Ricky wants to be doing here, because you see lanes like this where Ohio's just getting bullied back, but you have a Chen on the other side you want to keep tabs on, but they also have a Bounty Hunter who's going to be roaming around, so it looks like for now he is, being right over the shoulder of the Chen.
Look at Art Style. He's like canceling his attacks over and over so he gets the full XP from the creep because he knew Ricky was lingering. That's actually pretty hilarious.
I mean, I'm sure he's played Chen enough to know when you go against a Ricky/Bounty Hunter, how he can fully optimize that kind of potential setup. But 343 will continue to stalk him a bit while Na'Vi put their advantage on the bottom lane. And it looks like for up and above, their general off-lane Mirana here, he's playing this a lot back at Dream League finals, and he was awesome on the hero. So it's kind of nice to see him back on the saddle, if you will, once again.
Yeah, it's just a hero that's guaranteed experience in the off lane, and it's easy to rotate for with the Art Style and Seneko.
But then the other side, you have like a mid 1 Magnus.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Not a hero I've been seeing him play a lot of.
Don't think I've ever really seen him play it, so I don't really know how to feel. But I actually like the hero a lot right now. And the Empower build is actually pretty cool in mid. You have like 76 base damage. Nobody can really contest versus you that well. And with the light little buff on, I think it was 25 increased range on your cleave from that last little small patch. Does help. Little things obviously always change up everything.
How much of a hero is Magnus, though, you can kind of just pick up and play? Obviously, for handing out empowers, I could do that. But, when you have to be kind of the possible initiator, the setup for your team, should Mid-1, just with his natural talent, be able to kind of pick up and go with that kind of momentum?
At least a bit, maybe not to the extent of some other players. It looks like Seneko's trying to go for a courier snap again, but it's not there.
Meanwhile, bottom lane, we see Dendy feeling frisky here, moving in deep for Ohio because he's got Art Style by his side, hits him up with the nuke. And can they burst him down? Caustic is going to be good enough. Dendy with the first blood as Na'Vi will strike first in game number 2. Yep. Oh, arrow mid lane. Connects for mid 1 here. Beautiful shot. No one suspects the roaming around off lane Mirana. Certainly not Fnatic. They get hit. That's 2 takedowns now suddenly. Rapid fire coming out from Na'Vi, picking up the pace and the momentum that they had for game number 1.
Smart from Seneko, walking in, tanking the skewer so he can be with the Magnus to get that extra little right-click damage. Void actually getting extremely pressured. Look at his CS. He's actually 0 versus the Sanking right now.
Man, you're right.
So
get that 1 CS right there.
Seneko starting bottom, putting that small extra pressure on the Void with the Sanking. He's just getting absolutely crushed.
It's crazy to see that because you commit for a Chen and a Bounty Hunter. That's really just like a position where you feel like you have no natural supports to be bodyguards for the lane, really. But Na'Vi just feel like winning almost all lanes altogether. Maybe General's not making the best in the top lane, but he's already made his presence to the mid and made an impact there, which certainly justifies it. So
yeah, and now he can actually stay in that top lane and actually put some pressure. Not by no means, of course, threatening the Medusa at all, but at least getting free experience, and that's all he really needs.
Yeah, which, Medusa will continue to free farm, which is one thing, but she is one of those nursing kind of heroes that does require a bit of a build-up here, so it's not an immediate danger here for Na'Vi. Plus, they have an Alchemist on their team. We can't forget the Ditchera Alchemist here, who's always the big money grabber in the game. So it's something that Fnatic are going to have to keep in check here, which they might do now. Everyone running up for this 4-minute rune. Who's going to get it first? It looks like it's going to be mid one who snags it up, and they quickly blow up the Alchemist as their own response. Can they get a beautiful follow-up here for Sonico? They're looking for it, but they have no way to get the catch after already committing the telekinesis, and that seems like it'll be the end of it.
That was bold by the Alchemist to go for that rune.
He was like, all he saw it looked like was the bounty hunter. He's like, give me that bounty hunter now. Even when he was like, what, down to a third of his life, he didn't care.
Yeah.
He felt like just Sonico by his side was going to be more than enough. Fnatic, though, they've played against an Alchemist a time or two, and they know how much he wants to get to those runes. And that's a good way for them to punish him and get themselves on the board. Don't want to let Na'Vi run away with this early game and have people like your bounty hunter get to that track that much faster, but this is Na'Vi. This is Na'Vi's game. This is how they like to play it here. As Artstyle is looking up for another setup on this Void so they can further bully him. Since we checked on him last time, though, Fog, he's gotten 5 CS. So it's 5 times more than what he had previously.
Yeah.
5 times 0 is not
5 times 0 is 0. So actually
Yeah.
infinite times as much. So
Whoa!
doesn't matter.
They actually swing and miss on trying to get a hold of Void on this one, but obviously could just turn this into some natural push on that tier 1. Na'Vi would not mind getting rid of these tier 1s sooner than later.
Yeah, and Ohio's really the main benefiter from the Empower, so it's a little worrisome that he's getting so crippled in farm.
Yeah, because you look at their lineup, it's not like they have that atypical like Ember Spirit, Jug, Slark, who loves to get the Empower boxing gloves, if you will.
Yeah.
But a lot of their heroes can really benefit it. Okay, Ohio's dead.
They caught him in the creep wave, I guess.
Yeah. They just got jumped.
Whoa, Mushi, you are
Whoa.
way too
Mushi,
far up
there's
right
a
now.
tier 1
What
there
the-
above you. You can't be so far south now, can you? We've been seeing this a couple times from Fnatic through this tournament. Maybe a bit of overzealous behavior, and Mushi's going to get punished for it. The bounty hunter game is real here from Na'Vi, and he is continually on the watch. And that is going to pull Na'Vi ahead 4-1. That was ambitious. I mean, they saw the pressure coming in the bottom lane. You see Dendi, you see Artstyle, you see all these creeps. I don't know if Mushi and Fnatic felt like that there were lots of Na'Vi members all migrated towards the bottom half of the map, and that Mushi could be comfortable there, but yeah, lesson learned.
That's just, you're a Medusa with like nobody even remotely close to being behind you in between a tier 1 and tier 2 when you're the highest net worth hero on the map. I just feel like that's like an unacceptable mistake there for Mushi. Like you give up way too much dying like that.
Maybe he took it upon himself to end his life sooner so he can get to this bottom lane, apparently. He makes the shift down here, side by side with DJ, gets telekinesis, and that's all they're going to look to go for from there. Arcel steps in and says, don't think about it, but they find 3-4-3, and they just annihilate him right then and there. Happen to have that nice sentry on the ground that spots him out, and the Riki will get tagged. I don't know. I mean, in the previous game, the Riki presence really was just a bit of a non-factor just for how much that Na'Vi were getting with like their bounty hunter and everywhere else, and having the sentries and detection down could be a possible repeat here in game number 2. Gets a smoke now, though, as Fnatic are aware they still want to get some momentum going their way. But what do they have to wait for, Fogged? I mean, is it getting the blink on Magnus that they're really going to get their next big peak? Or at least just Chrono, I suppose, on Ohio if he gets to level 6?
More than likely, yeah, the blink on the mag. But Mushi actually gets all 3 of Artstyle's creeps there. So
That's
that
nice.
movement from Mushi actually dying and moving toward this bottom lane opens up Ohio to get some free farm in the top lane. So
That's true.
not the worst, I guess.
But he's
Ends up
second
being-
lowest in net worth. He finally gets over 1,000 net worth.
Yeah.
Ooh, that is, you could not ask for a more difficult start if you're a Faceless Void. Oh, bottom lane, burrow in from Mushi, but it looks like they sent him back to base. It's like I could have sworn there was a Sand King there. Mid one comes in, but it's a bit too late. He comes full force from the mid lane with an RP ready to go, but yeah, Na'Vi not going to be hanging around to see it.
Yeah, they're going to be there to defend it as well, because like you were mentioning, Dendi stunned and got sent home by the Chen. So he is there, and he is halfway to his blink.
I don't think enough teams really take advantage of stuff like that. Na'Vi obviously been playing a lot of Chen, so happy to, you know, unlike your Kunkas where you can send them back to the base and refuel a bit. Dendi happy to kind of hop on board with that. Burrows right in for DJ. Does he know that 2 other Fnatic members are right then and there? It's not going to stop him. They get the quick, swift kill, taking out DJ, and now comes mid one. He's back. He's like, okay, there's action here now. He charges on forward, pops the RP, and says, I want Dendi blood, and takes him out. Man, he'd been waiting a while. It's like the first time mid one came in, he was disappointed nobody was there, and the second something broke out, he's like, I'm coming back, boys. And he was there just in time.
Yeah, good kill on the Sand King, but remember, there's still an Alchemist forming.
That's the sleeping dragon of the game. You know, Fnatic are like, okay, what kind of steps can we make on the other lanes? Good, we got to grab on Dendi, but got to ditch your rod over here.
Triple stack, armlet finished up. Max Grievous Greed. Ooh.
Alchemist. And this, when you look at an Alchemist game, this is what you expect to see when we get close to 10 minutes. He's up there at the top, and that little bar is going to get whoop. Like Pinocchio's nose. It's just going to grow.
You know what's pretty absurd, though? Most of the time you see like a Mirana offlane, which you don't really see. Like, if you would, though, you would not see this. He is past his mid laner in farm. He is finding kills all over the map. He's part of 4 kills, and he's just pressuring, and he's level 8.
What is he saving for? He could have gone right for the Arcane Boots, as we see some Miranas do. He's skipping on shoes, keeping with the good old brown booties.
General had a very different build than he did from others, but
I might have an idea here, because he did just invest some money. I'm not too sure what it is. But
point booster, maybe?
Straight to the Ags, I guess. Just at least stopping off for the trusty point booster along the way. Gives you a good chunk of mana to work with and, of course, health. So
I think when he was playing the offlane Mirana, he actually ran something different.
Gotta be careful if you want that point booster. He is able to get it. Jumps in, committed. Oh! Don't you dare touch my career! General takes down little 3-4-3. The Ricky at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Get your point booster and get a kill like that right afterwards.
This is going almost too well for Na'Vi right now.
Yeah, Fnatic's showing some life, but yeah, definitely
5K at 10
going
minutes.
quite heavily in the favor of Na'Vi. This is pre-track as well.
And Alchemist is farming. Got to reach here. Energy has to be sent if you're a Fnatic fan, because they're going to need a huge mid-game impact here on the back of your big Magnus RPs, your big Chronospheres, in hopes that they can create the space and maybe even get some kills funneled the way towards Mushi so he can be a late-game force. But that seems like a grim thing here, but this could be a nice start in the right way. Nope, Hand of God is going to be committed by art style. He says, I will not have any of your assault. Pushes them off and avoids the trouble. General lobs out the arrow. Not going to find any target here.
Track is ready.
The track is ready, and there it begins to fly. He actually has low mana now, so can't do a whole lot more with the track, but Fnatic are all here. Full posse, ready to take down this tier 1. General still hanging around, though, under this Moonlight Shadow, as if he thinks that maybe with some assistance and some rotations, maybe Na'Vi can do something, or maybe he's looking for a TP to cancel.
Delay. They just got to delay this tower push. Like, Alchemist is free farming in mid lane. Dendy's free farming in the off lane. He's almost got it. Or Ditcher almost has.
Is he going to get the deny
radiance.
too? No, not going to get it there. Medusa will snag it up. But as you were just talking about, Na'Vi are doing strides of work elsewhere. Mid lane, Ditcher helps in claiming the tower. He's now got his mighty sacred relic now in pocket.
Blink on Dendy as well. So losing that tower you don't want to ideally, but getting this kind of trade-off is more than fine for Na'Vi.
You have a blinking Sand King before the Void is able to kind of do his Void game, you know, with the Chrono and everything. And we already know, we saw in the last game, you know, General was actually the one playing the Sand King, but you could see what a Sand King can do versus the Void. He goes for an admirable setup, but then that's the Sand King waiting in the pocket and able to pull out a counterplay. We'll see if we're going to have it again. Meanwhile, bottom lane, mid one going to get netted up, commits in with the skewer and the RP, all for Chen, and Chen's like, no real problem here, but then he does go down. General, though, jumps on in like a party, drops down the Starstorm, and quickly walks away with a double kill, making it well worth it for Na'Vi boys in the end of the day. That's an RP committed to simply take down the one Chen, while, as you can see, what's turning into a quickly core Mirana is getting a lot out of this, and that's not the Blink debut you were hoping to make there, Dondo. Casual stumble over your Sand King toes, Ember Spirit, or not Ember Spirit, Epicenter.
Whoops.
Yeah.
That's okay, though. That's not even that bad to expend. Like, sure, he hits nobody with and everything, but they got what they wanted. They got 2 kills already for General.
Serious?
And they've got Radiance and Ags.
General is less than 500 away from Ags on his Mirana, his off-lane Mirana.
This guy's actually...
Boots, wand, Ags. It's like, damn. All right, come on, Fnatic. We got to see what the recovery is here. Medusa hasn't gone down or hasn't been getting her hands in too much trouble. It is going to be the patented early Linken's build-up that I believe is a Fnatic specialty on Medusa.
Oh, God.
Ooh.
The Linken's, though, is not particularly good. You can just break it with track.
Yeah, it's not a huge Linken's game, but you know, they look for the stats. Meanwhile,
they get Soneko,
there's a Chrono. They will get Soneko down. Ditcha pops off the stun there, But Fnatic happy to claim any sort of kill they can at this point.
But it's not track kills or anything. It's these mag RPs are hitting one hero every single time. They get one kill out of it, which is it's cool, it's nice. The same thing with the RP, the Chrono, same thing, just one kill every single time, but not really like gaining an objective after that. Look, this tower's 3/4 HP. Ditcherod just throws an acid spray. That tower should be just fine, and he's just gonna go run around and farm while the rest of his team is also farming. Art Styles,
and
Chen,
a bounty hunter.
everybody.
You know, I'll just gladly bring together the farm of 2 or 3 towers while you try to take our 1 tower.
68. Yummy.
Yeah, he's off to an all-star start on his Alchemist right now.
Snake.
Oh, so Nego's been spotted. 343 had been parked in that spot for quite a while, and he's not catching Pokemon. He's looking to catch a bounty hunter here. Pops out the dust, but they can't quite get the finish, and here comes the turnaround play. Dendy, beautiful connection with a 2-man burrow strike. They're tracked up, and their money waiting for Na'Vi if they can get these kills. There's a nice smoke, but it's not going to stop him. Mid-1 tries desperately to commit a defensive RP, but that's not going to be good enough either. It's looking like a possible disaster again here for Fnatic here, Fogged.
For me.
For Fogged, it's a disaster for Fogged, Fnatic. Dendy moving in, he wants even more, but it looks like they'll finally have to slow their roll. Na'Vi up and above, 11-5.
Oof, all looking amazing for Na'Vi. Like, the gold lead, every single fight is just benefiting them. They have all the key items that they want right now, and they're taking the fights and winning them quite heavily.
I feel like we've seen this before, just the last game. I noticed as bottom lane, they're making a jump from Mushi here, who's just trying to farm on forward, but he does have that get-out-of-jail-free card in the Stone Gaze to make it away. Just have to avoid the arrow, which he does. But
goes back for the Yasha. Okay.
It's going back for the Yasha. That's good. You might need to fight. I also noticed the Void got a might be going to Mask of Madness too, taking most advantage out of heavy right-click damage, I suppose, or it could be Vlad's, I guess. But he has no other Vlad's items, so who really knows in the end?
Yeah, more than likely the Vlad's, but he is so far behind that I don't even really know what he should be picking up.
I mean, I have seen Voids go Mask of Madness when they're just trying to get the most out of their right-click inside the Chrono. Against a team like Na'Vi right now, if you want to give yourself the amp damage, that could be a risky thing, but we'll have to see. Right now, Fnatic could be thinking about what plan B is, but look at this. They might get a nice little forgiving kill. So Nico, who's creeping on in, trying to scout out for Na'Vi, will be punished here, but I imagine Na'Vi are going to be happy to kind of tank that potential gank from Fnatic, and in the meanwhile be able to dish out some tracks to at least get some extra vision. Uh-oh, we got an epi charging up from Dondo. Moves on in, gets the burrow connection from Mushi, but did he bite off more than he can chew here? It looks like he may have. He ends up going down. Mushi barely alive, able to make it back and away, while Ohio commits on forward with the Chrono. Meanwhile, on the outskirts, mid-1 pops off the Shockwave nuke damage. Can they get the finish for Dendy? Yes, they can. Suddenly we see Fnatic win a fight their way as they take a 3-for-1 trade.
That was over-aggressive, for sure. I don't really know even why they were forcing that. They don't even have their Chen. I feel like that was just a very over-aggressive maneuver that they didn't even need to risk.
Yeah.
Maybe just getting a little bit too comfortable with the game.
But Alchemist is still farming, which
yeah,
is always...
That's also why, though. Like, they didn't have the Alchemist, they didn't have the Chen there, and Dendy makes a very over-eager play. They almost killed the Medusa, to be fair, but still, going into all that, the RP wasn't even expended from Fnatic. It just came up a little bit after the fight happened, but...
Yeah.
Hey, look how much money they all got, though. The Void now has Vlad's finished up with a Blade of Alacrity. They pick up a gem on the side of the Riki. It's a big swing for Fnatic there.
And they'll take any sort of swing they can get. Still not out of this game yet. Looking to stay alive as we see General back in action. Obviously, his Ag's showing it off now. Doesn't even want to bother waiting for the Alk on his. We'll finish out first and four right. 4 staff here for Dendy. Mid lane, as you can see, DJ on the bad end of what looked like an arrow setup. And it's going to be a swift takedown there from Na'Vi, just punishing down the little support. But bottom lane, they're also on the objective path as they'll clean up a tier 1 tower. And options for doing the Roche become a little bit easier now for Na'Vi if that's something they're thinking about.
Ditch is accelerating just a bit too fast for Fnatic, though, right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's great for Fnatic if they can get a kill on him. He'll be so far in ahead that he'll have a huge bounty on his head, but I don't know if they have any sort of easy way to take him down without committing your RP Chrono setup. And with Na'Vi, you know, you have Hand of God online. I imagine one of them is probably getting close to a mech on Na'Vi if it's something they are going for.
I think Chen had it already.
So, you know, that's something that they have to kind of bounce back from the wombo combo factor of Fnatic if they're not all caught out. But Fnatic feel like that this could be their time. And they smoke up, and they go on the move. They're heading south, right into Na'Vi territory here.
I mean, Navi's perfectly fine with just farming in this game, it seems like. They don't really, they don't feel like the need to be pressured. You can just look at their positioning on the map.
Looks like they might find Chen here. It'll be a 3-man gank for the support. Beautifully done.
Gets the
Okay,
mech off,
yeah,
lives a little bit longer.
Yes, yeah, he's got some survivability there. Are Na'Vi looking for a counterplay? But
They
thinking
get
about
mid
it, they get mid one.
They're gonna
Nice
get
snipe
DJ
by
as
that.
well.
Oh god, this is not what Fnatic wanted when they made this kind of invade. Hoping to get maybe a swift pick on the prime target and then make it a way out, but they end up losing 2, and one of them is their precious mid lane core.
And 2 track kills. Is that a level 11 bounty or just a level 6 bounty hunter? Okay, so yeah, he's only level 6. So level 1 track, but still, small amounts is enough.
Yeah. And you can feel it though from Fnatic that they are recognizing that if Na'Vi want to comfortably, you know, autopilot this game and just take advantage of the economy game more so than anything else, you know, they're not going to win that kind of game. So Fnatic, you know, they want to make sure they can continue to go on the assault and try to somewhat dictate the pace of the game, or at least get some, you know, motivation and momentum back their way, but it's just not easy. Lincoln's is done now though for our Medusa.
Ricky needs to really watch his positioning. I believe he's the one holding the gem as well, so if Na'Vi gets a hand on that, it's gonna screw Fnatic over so hard.
He's currently doing some D-ward duty in the Fnatic jungle, but Na'Vi are also heading that way, so does have to be careful about that. Na'Vi
Manta, Radiance, Armlet, 3k gold.
yeah, not even 20 minutes yet. It's pretty good.
I think that's pretty much on par with Arteezy's Alchemist from the other day.
He's got 3k gold. Yeah, this is crazy. Fnatic though, mid lane will look for an objective trade. Arrow connects on the Void. Na'Vi begin to rotate in. Can they burst down this Void? No, they got a smoke screen to stop Dendy from doing anything, and then they quickly pop off the Chrono here. Can they burst him down? Hand of God and the mech is going to be good enough to keep him alive and well, and now they'll look for the follow finish. Tracked up Ohio, set to go down, will go down, and meanwhile they also clean up little DJ's Rubik. Now Mushi desperately slithering
they're gonna clean
away,
this fight up.
but they're going to get everybody here. Mid one says, get the hell away from Mushi, and shoves him to the low ground, hands over his own life for Mushi, while Mushi is going to be able to TP away to safety, but Fnatic have already lost 3
That's a
from
rush.
this skirmish. And as you mentioned, that means an easy Roche for Na'Vi and an easy Aegis.
Yeah, Acid Spray plus Chen creeps. 4,000 gold on Alchemist, so he's going to be able to get his full soul booster and on his way to that Octarine.
Or Fnatic now. No.
They're gonna, if he gets his Octarine and then he gets that like Shivas within the next like 3 or 4 minutes, I don't think Fnatic can kill him. Which should be happening.
Yeah, there hasn't even been too many opportunities for this Alchemist to really get his hands dirty in this fight either. But by the time he shows up, he's going to feel like the final boss. When Fnatic can't even take out the mid boss yet, it's just like we have to deal with him as well. We're having a hard enough time juggling around this Chen, this pesky Dendy Sand King, and even General's Mirana seems just like such a huge impact hero. And whew, we'll miss the arrow on that one, DJ.
They're still going to chase him out.
Yeah,
they have
they
the blink
will.
stun in a
Dendy.
second. Do they continue with the seeing the
Mid one's
mag?
there, and once he sees him, he says, okay, I'm good. Quickly burrows the hell off to the left-hand
Oh.
side. Oh, it's a solo RP. Mid one trying to connect with both him and Dendy, only going to get the one bounty hunter. A nice little kill, but not one to justify an RP that Na'Vi can now take advantage of.
Yeah, if they want to capitalize on it, they can. Don't even know if they really have to, though.
It's like you can
they feel
either
pretty
move
good.
forward and capitalize, or it's just know that, okay, we don't have to wear an RP, let's farm.
Yep, all right. Oh, yo, over here, Ditcha. There's
You
a
know,
nice little bounty
you're
rune.
one win away from...
Don't do it, Dendy. Don't do it. I'm watching you.
He got it.
Thank you.
It's like, don't even look at that thing. If you want an Ags later, you don't touch that. But it actually looks like Denny's going to grab his own Ags. He's like, I'm not even going to wait. I got a point booster. You're going to give that Ags to somebody else. Give it to Chen.
Yeah, they can always like replace those items later on if the Aghanims does get given to them. But having them earlier is definitely better for their potential.
Ohio is parked inside the trees here, hoping to set up a good chrono, waiting for the jump in from Dendy. Dendy, though, already forced out, and Ohio got caught right in the mix. I don't know if an arrow hit him or not, but he walked right into his stun or something.
What happened? I think it was an arrow, right?
Yeah, I think he leapt right into an arrow, and he goes down right away.
He had like a 2 or 3 man chrono, and then he just
it would have been
stunned and died instantly.
Dendy also just forced out from that situation so quick. I don't even know if it would have been a big chrono, but anything would have been better than eating an arrow on the way in, though.
Yeah, Octarine now finished up for Ditchera. He's pretty much unkillable here. He doesn't even go for that plate mill. He actually picks up a gem for his team, so what a nice
Feels
guy.
like it could be the beginning of the end here for Fnatic as Na'Vi on that welcome mat in the mid lane here. Ditchera making his move in, going for the other big core on the other side. Medusa, Medusa slithers backing out.
Hits like a kitten.
Throwing pillows right now at Na'Vi.
Yeah, with the Octarine, it just makes it so hard to deal with this timing of push from Na'Vi. It's only 23 minutes, and the way they're sieging is just Alchemist in the front line, full mana, full health, constant Manta throws, and there's nothing you can really do to deal with this.
Yep, everyone's getting shoved back here. No easy road for Fnatic on this one. They're happy to lure out their Alchemist. He's not even the Aegis holder here. It's just they're happy that he's so damn meaty. Oh no!
Arrow again!
You
What?
serious?
What?
Let's just ban this kid already. He seems to know where to arrow when they jump in.
He blinked into it.
Oh.
Oh no.
I mean, General had been just casually throwing those arrows down the lane. You know, the last time it killed a creep, this time it kills mid-1. That is just so unfortunate. Just like when you're Fnatic and you're just barely holding pots and pans of weapons, and you're just like, we gotta go in, and then you fall face forward. That is real unfortunate there. That cost them their mid lane racks, and Na'Vi are just moments away from securing a step into the grand finals to face Secret.
Wow. I mean, 2 times in 2 fights just getting arrowed like that from 2 different people. Very unfortunate
Okay,
for Fnatic.
Na'Vi, no, I don't want to say that they have no respect for Fnatic, but they're not giving them enough respect that they wanted to just easily pull out. They're waiting to see if even Fnatic overstep their movements here in the mid lane and just punish and end the game flat out now. Don't even give Fnatic the dream of moving into a 30-plus minute game.
Oh, no way. There's no point. Na'Vi can just seal the deal right here.
Here they go. Ohio tracked up early, so he's not even going to be able to hide on the side for any sort of fancy chrono play. Meanwhile, Na'Vi continue their siege. Tier 3 in jeopardy. Dendi decides to make the move, jumps on in for Ohio. He gets taken down along with General, popping out the Starstorm. Mid-1 says, I'm going to shove you right back in the fountain, you son of a gun! Tries to take him down, but he's got the Ghost Scepter, and it keeps him alive!
Oh my
He
God,
actually walks out, and it seems like he may be able to live, but no, finally they're able to bring down his Aegis. Meanwhile, an absolute chaotic fight to break out here on the back-end side. It looks like they will be losing art style as Mushi and company trek on 4, but Dendi responds with the Epi and is able to quickly take down Little Ohio on his buyback play. Mushi is going to be able to make it back into the fountain, but it's Fnatic like little sheep corralled into their pen. Na'Vi, the shepherds, not letting them out, and they're going to ruin all of their fancy little base structures. All the meanwhile. Shoved back onto Ditya.
It's like, oh, we got him back here, but uh-oh.
Yep. Got the stolen cog, but it's like,
Oh,
did
Mushi.
we bring him back to kill him, or did we bring him back to kill us faster? It's feeling like the latter, unfortunately.
Mushi's still very survivable, though, but he doesn't really do that much damage with his build either.
Yeah, he's just what feels like a big creep slithering in there, unfortunately, for Na'Vi. And they have bigger things to kind of look forward to here as they crush down the second set of racks here in the top lane.
Oh, 3-4-3 just
Man.
gets caught up again. Double Starfall.
General's like, thanks for the gem. Thanks for the racks. Fnatic, it's been a hell of a run here for Starladder I-League. And we do look forward to seeing them at TI, but it looks like the road here will end for now.
Yeah, it does really seem like this game's over. Just Navi's just going to reset, pick up their items that they got from like that 10,000 plus gold swing that just happened in the last couple minutes, and just walk down the bottom lane and clean it up. It's not really too much of a shock to see this coming. I think Fnatic showed some signs of life and showed a lot of potential in this tournament, but Na'Vi overall have played pretty remarkable here and have showed a lot of signs of development since the summit.
Yeah, and you know, these are, Na'Vi's looking like a pretty powerhouse team. Potential top 8 for TI, I'd imagine.
My favorite thing about Na'Vi is they're not afraid to pick things that are a little bit like out of the meta right now, and not very generic heroes like the Chen, the Bounty Hunter, which are kind of falling out of favor. Even the Sand King, they're the ones who kind of like brought it back for the most part when people have been picking the Timbersaw. So I'm really liking the way Na'Vi's looking in these last few days.
Na'Vi fans rejoice as they're back and hitting their serious prime again. When the meta feels like it really fits their style, the picks all seem to kind of line up perfectly with them. Happen to be on Radiant's side when the early game seems to favor that. Here goes Fnatic's YOLO play here now.
Yeah, last effort from Fnatic.
YOLO
here.
play.
But then Na'Vi knows.
Hello, everybody. They just casually rock right in the middle of Fnatic. Are they even suspecting it? Ohio makes the jump. He wants to go for Dendi. Catches him with the chrono here. Mushi trying to help out, but they don't have that firepower, and they can't get it done. Mushi tries to follow up with a Stone Gaze. Are Na'Vi going to get caught out by it? Artstyle maybe. Forced to the low ground. No, he's actually just forced within the trees. They still spot him out, and they will still shoot him down. Meanwhile, mid-1 shoves General to the low ground now. Ohio in pursuit gets him off with the time dilation. Mid-1 surrounds Dendi. Fnatic might be able to get some good money their way. But did Yara, the big man, the beast here, is the one who still stands strong, and he's happy to just shrug on forward, and he's going to chop on down little DJ like he's nuttin', and then possibly look for the follow-up for more. Valiant effort from Fnatic to make a surprise play, but still the result is the same. It's Na'Vi who come out the stronger team. Haha, gotcha. Nice dodge.
Got him.
Got him. Last laugh goes to Mushi in this game, though.
Yeah, still able to just break the high ground quite efficiently. Mushi now gonna get focused up. Lots of magical damage burst, but the mana shield absorbing everything. And he's just gotta survive for now.
He can survive, I'll give him that.
Yeah, he's fine. Yep, Na'Vi just slow sieging it. Killing the Riki again with some minor spells, but yeah, this game is definitely sealed the deal.
Yep. Ditcha will be the janitor to kind of clean up the remains here inside the base, but there is 2 racks that separate Na'Vi from claiming the Megas.
He got him that time.
So as we know, we've seen through this tournament, Fnatic, a team that is not quick to tap out. They will make Na'Vi sweat it out to the bitter end. And just kind of take note of this, use this as a lesson learned moving forward. They had some great practice. We were considering Na'Vi, you know, what looks like a pretty good chance of a top 8 team at TI. This is some great scrim, great practice, and a good way to get prepared. You know, there's only so many teams out there who can mimic the raw, quick, fast play style of Na'Vi. There we go. Last racks to go down. Mid-1 has one last RP in him. Shoves back a couple of Na'Vi members here, but tricks of the trade and everything else just don't seem to be enough. Ohio will get in there, and look at this. They get the Alchemist down. Love to see how much money they made off that guy.
Megas.
14, 15? Hard to see from here.
1,400 gold for the Void for what? Was it just like a killing spree or something? Oh my god, look at that swing.
Casual, almost 7k gold swing off that.
Obviously,
nice.
it doesn't really matter because they are the Megas.
Everyone give Mushi a rapier now. Channel it all to Mushi. Give him a rapier, give him Empower.
I think he needs a couple rapiers, but
just sell everything you got, make rapiers.
Yeah.
That'll be it.
Unfortunate for Fnatic, but yeah, Navi's just looking so commanding.
We're hoping for now the Na'Vi Ultra Throw 322 to stay alive, but that was, as pointed out by our wonderful Obsmot, the last racks down.
Oh, and Denti did not go for the Ags, by the way. He went Octarine with that point booster.
Okay, he's expecting to get an Ags from the Alk then.
From the machine.
Who did he give the other Ags to?
Chen, yeah,
Chen.
the first one.
Okay. He should have a couple more by now, right? No, he did.
He's got like 5k gold, I think, on him, just in the bank.
Okay. So
Shiva's would make him pretty much unkillable, but he can just buy his team Ags.
If anyone else wants another
wants.
Ags and more net worth before this game is over, you know, line up.
It's like, Seneko, do you want to be up here with us cool crew with your net worth, or do you want to be down at the bottom with the Dire?
He's like, I want to win.
I want to
end
win
this game now.
That's all that matters.
We have to get ready for Secret.
Ditya the machine.
What about from Secret's perspective? They're watching this game. They're seeing Fnatic get crushed. Do you feel like watching it's like, oh, Na'Vi look even more fierce today than they've looked through this tournament so far, or Fnatic look not as good today as they've been looking before?
I do think that Fnatic look a little bit worse than they were looking, but I also think that Na'Vi, with their lane setups and just the way that their playstyle is, it just completely threw Fnatic onto a whole different level that they were not. I feel like they could have been a little bit more prepared for it, but just like the lane setups from Na'Vi and just like their hero picks were just a little bit different than what they were doing the last few days, and it completely caught Fnatic off guard. Like the safe lane Sanking with the Chen and Bounty Hunter just completely moving around. Like you can't really just predict these kind of things from Na'Vi.
Mask of Madness. It's a bit late, but Medusa has one now. I know, like for pub Medusas and stuff, Mask is great farming item. Got to remember that the mana shield deduction takes place before the Mask of Madness amplified damage, so you really don't take much damage at all, even when you use Mask of Madness on Medusa.
It's like the best farming build as a first item.
Absolutely.
But you're also very susceptible.
Yeah, not often shown in competitive play. Yeah. Definitely not often shown late game in competitive play.
Yep. We do the chrono. Catch Seneko.
Catch Seneko. Get that bounty hunter down. Can
She's
they do
dead
it?
though.
Yeah, but everyone else in the back line is dead. General leapt up and over the chrono and out from danger, and now is going to be the final result here, as they will be able to Shrek them down. Mid-1 gets off his big RP and his big charge, but he charges right into his own demise, and that's going to be game. Fnatic get 5-man wipe there at the end, and even after the Megas, they wanted to fight it out. Now it's over. High fives all around. Na'Vi have done it. They're going to be going to the grand final, and they will face Secret in a best-of-5 coming up soon.
Yep, they look pretty good. They're happy, all of them all around. But yeah, this overall, we've been saying it over and over. The early game from Na'Vi is looking quite potent. Art style and Seneko. The supports, as we've been mentioning as well, supports winning games in the early game with the laning phase. And yeah, it's pretty straightforward Na'Vi game there. Fnatic just wasn't really able to get onto their actual momentum swing. And yeah, it was just Na'Vi's game the whole game around.
Your secret, do you ban Bounty Hunter? Was it that much of a problem?
You might want to, yeah. Honestly, like, this probably scared Secret just a little bit, for sure.
Definitely very excited to see where that matchup's going to go. Got to give props to Fnatic. It's been a hell of a run. They've been here for a long, what feels like scrappy boot camp, muscling their way through a summit, and now the Star Ladder. Now a little bit of time off before they have to head off to TI. I'm really excited to see how they're going to be performing. Na'Vi, though, still in it to fight. And we're going to get an epic matchup, Na'Vi versus Secret, coming up soon. That's Fogged. I'm KotLGuy. I'm done for now, so I'm going to relax and take a break. You guys stick around, though, because soon we have a hype grand final coming right up.
E-gaming bets. We accept bets on computer games